moving a child back and forth from school. There's a lot of stuff. And okay, my car holds a lot, but I have that whole cargo box on top. It's another one of those things that you take for granted until you go, I can't step there, I can't get up there, I can't put weight on my leg. So I was bouncing up and down on the cart because all the stuff was up there. Packed up my child yesterday and drove all the way home from Maine. So there was tons of stuff, and I spent half of yesterday going up and down, packing the box, moving things around, and I think it was probably my 5th trip when it dawned on me. Last year, the year before, 3 years ago, it's like I would have had to bring somebody else with me. I wouldn't have been able to do it. And it's one of those things in your life, it's just a normal routine that you still take it for granted. As soon as you can go back to doing it, until you recognize there was a period of time you couldn't.
Malalignment of the knee puts a lot of abnormal forces on the knee. When somebody has a straight leg, the forces experienced by the knee are normal. The hip, knee, ankle line is a straight line. Forces go through the center of the knee. With a knock knee, what's happening is, because of the way the knees are shaped, forces are not going right through the center of the knee. Rather, what's happening is the outside of the knees, the lateral side of the knees, are being excessively loaded, and the inside part of the knee is underloaded. And over time, what ends up happening is cartilage wear is accelerated on the lateral side of the knee, and ligament starts to stretch out on the medial or inside part of the knee. And then over time, as the arthritis progresses, the deformity actually gets worse because of the cartilage wearing out and because of the stretching out of the ligaments.
I would remember even as a kid, lining up in gym, going to the nurse's office. They'd say, put your feet together. And I'd do my best. And I get yelled at by these grown-ups you look up to, and put your feet together. And I couldn't. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it for a long time. Until, 30, 40 maybe. And realized that it was the bones in my legs. That it was the actual shape of the structure that was holding me up. That's why I couldn't wear short skirts. Why leggings looked funny. Why I couldn't put my feet together. I literally couldn't.
We're underloading all this part that is, has some degree of arthritis, is now getting to heal because the mechanics are improved. These are pictures from the operating room. You see how we're able to recreate the line from the hip to the ankle, and then we size it with appropriate wedges until we get the weight-bearing line as we want it. By doing an osteotomy, we can straighten the leg. We can correct the knock-knee deformity, and then create a line between the hip, knee, and ankle that is straight. That normalizes the forces in the knee. Number 1, knee pain gets better. Number 2, people feel better about the way they look and their alignment and the way they walk. And number 3, we are changing the future. We're making the knee last longer. So in the pre-arthritic knee, we are eliminating a major risk factor for developing arthritis.
2 years ago, knees are getting a little achier. Oh, I'm going to blame it on arthritis. I'm going to blame it on age. And I was walking down the stairs. Took a couple of steps, went to land on my left leg, and it had gotten so out of it, the knee cap moved, and it actually buckled. And if I hadn't had railings, I would have gone all the way down the stairs. I said, okay, this needs to be fixed now. And I started doing research. Oh, well, you can't really have knee replacements. You're kind of young. You'd have to do it again. And it took me a long time and a lot of research. And I found out that there's some place that will actually look at your bones and you can have them reconstructed. I was flabbergasted. It's like, you mean this can be fixed? And I didn't know that. I made a call and I came in and I had my first consultation with Dr. Rozbruch. And it was interesting because if you've been through this all your life, you don't realize how much it's actually, you kind of feel ashamed of it. And I came in and we started talking about it, and I was almost afraid to mention that it bothered me because I knew that structurally it needed help. And he actually asked me, he said, well, psychologically, emotionally, does this bother you? And the question took me by surprise, and I almost started to cry, and even if I think about it now, it had such a strong effect on how I felt about myself. And it's not about this, love yourself in any shape. It was about something was wrong with me. And that's a feeling, no matter how successful you become, no matter what you do, you've got that feeling of there's something wrong. And I was so afraid that wasn't going to be valid. And he just took it right over. He's like, no, that's a very important part of being able, healing everything that needs to be healed.
Looks great.
Now they
You're
go,
walking-
they just go straight. It's amazing. They just go straight. I was telling Danny, it's like, I was in the office about a month ago and I had on a short skirt. I looked
Yeah.
down and I went, my legs are straight. And I just I was like beaming. It's the last thing I ever would have said to take a picture of until now.
We draw a line from the center of the hip to the center of the ankle, and that is the weight-bearing line. It's called the mechanical access line. You can see that that line on both sides falls through the lateral compartment of the knee, not through the center of the knee, but actually it's deviated. And you can see we measure that. Here it's 23 millimeters of deviation. Here it's 19 millimeters of deviation. Our goal, after further analysis, we know that in Bonnie's case, the source of the deformity is the distal femur. And so the treatment was a distal femoral osteotomy, opening wedge using plates and screws. And you can see after we have done that, now the hip to ankle line goes through the center of the knee. So this changes the mechanics of the knee tremendously. It's an opening wedge osteotomy. You can see there's a triangle there. It's shimmed. It's a shim. It's basically opened up the exact number of degrees that is necessary to achieve this correct alignment. We use a bone graft and a titanium plate and screws to hold things in place.
Little by little, you've changed your life. And you don't know it until you suddenly look around and somebody says, hey, let's do another. And you go, oh, wait, I can't do that. I won't make it to the end. I won't make the whole trail.
When I stand up in the morning and I look down and my legs are straight. They're a little achy because they're recovering, but I don't need braces. I can walk down the hall. I can do all those things. And I've got a lot more I'm gonna do.